How to keep your emotions in check as a busy mompreneur. Have you ever lost it for something so small? Well, in this video, I'm gonna teach you how to go from chaos to calm using emotional regulation. As moms, we are constantly putting out fires. There might be something going on with the kids over here, the business is going up in flames, and we have to take care of all of that. But it's so important to remember to give ourselves grace. We're doing the best we can, and your best is good enough. So let's go over some things that you can do when you find your fuse is really short. The first thing I want you to do is pause and breathe. Giving yourself the pause actually allows your brain to catch up to the moment. If we're just looking at what's happening in the outside environment, our brain is making a determination very, very quickly, and that is how we become reactive. So the idea is that you give your brain a moment to assess what's going on so that you can decide how you want to respond. The second thing is to take a deep breath. When you take that deep breath, you are going to reset your brain out of fight or flight, and you'll actually be able to decide how I'm going to respond to the situation that's in front of me. Emotional regulation is really about your internal and your external environment. So something is happening in your external environment, and then you are actually processing what's going on in your internal environment and making a decision based on that. Sometimes the decision is no decision. You may just remove yourself from the scenery so that you can gather yourself and then come back to it. If you don't have the ability to remove yourself at that time, then the best thing to do is, like I said, you're gonna pause, breathe, and decide how you want to proceed from there. Sometimes there is no response needed. No response is a response. But thinking about how you're feeling in your internal environment, because no one is responsible for how you feel. You have to take 100% responsibility for how you feel. And remember, if you're triggered by your child, think about, why am I triggered by this child who is most likely doing what kids do? So that is an issue on the inside of you. And I always say to parents, if you want regulated children, you have to be a regulated parent. So you have to take your emotional regulation seriously if you want your child to be able to emotionally regulate. My son is 5 years old, and he knows when he gets angry, the first thing he's supposed to do is pause and take a breath. And I have actually witnessed him go off in a corner, find some place to sit, and do his emotional regulation breathing techniques as a 5-year-old. So I am quite positive that our big age selves can figure out how to do our breathing exercises and pause in the moment. Also, understand that whatever you are feeling is valid, but it may not be true. So there's a difference between it being a fact just because you feel something, or feeling that this particular thing is going to take you out in some sort of way. One thing about emotions is that the emotion is going to be an ebb and a flow. It's going to rise up, but it will also come back down. But if you never give it an opportunity to move through, you keep reactivating that emotion at that point, and it's going to just keep rising up at a place that makes you feel like you're out of control. So the idea here is that you don't suppress it, that you allow it to come up to the surface and ask it a question. Why are you here? Anger. Why are you here? What are you here to tell me? And once you get the memo, the emotion moves on. I always say emotions are like very pesky, attention whores, because they're going to be nitpicking at you until you actually decide to take a look at the emotion. There are no good or bad emotions. There are only emotions that we are either expressing or suppressing. So decide that you are going to be the type of person that can sit in the emotion and not rush it away, because when we try to rush it away, that is how suppression happens. And when we suppress, it has to be expressed. It's going to be either an implosion or an explosion at some point. So handling your emotions healthily is the best thing you can do as a mom and as an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship, there are tons of ups and downs. And honestly, most people quit before they get to the prize because they can't manage how they're feeling along in the journey. So learning how to regulate your emotions is going to help you both personally and professionally, so that you can make it through those moments that feel like the world is crashing down, whether that's at home or in your business. There's going to come a day where you're going to feel like this is the absolute worst thing that can happen. And knowing that there's always this tide that is happening. There's the rolling of emotions, and that really emotional regulation is about being able to handle the full range of emotions, from happiness to sadness. There's so much in between, and being able to really just acknowledge what those emotions are. It's really part of the human experience. Being able to experience a full range of emotion is how we know we are human. So that is a good thing. That means your body and your brain are actually working properly for you to be able to feel. Feeling is a wonderful, wonderful thing. So just as a recap, when you are feeling completely triggered, like you want to go off on everybody who's there, just remember you can give yourself a pause in the moment, breathe. If you need to remove yourself from the scenery, do that. But be able to get yourself back to a place where you're getting out of fight or flight, which is by your breath, by pausing and taking the breath, and you're actually able to respond and not react in the moment. If you found this video helpful, I would love for you to book a call so I can help you on your emotional regulation journey as a mompreneur. Click the link in the description. I'll see you next time.